there's a step. And I think we all don't know really where it goes to, but there is something in the movement very, very much changing. And I think we have to think about new forms of distribution. This is, I think, the most important thing. There has to be something changing, because we cannot produce so many films anymore because they will not work in cinema. So we have to make far more clear border between television and cinema. I think that is something that...
Or simultaneous releases, or support of art without going to the cinema.
More cinemas, maybe? More cinemas?
That would be great. Tell people to go more.
It's unrealistic. A lot of cinema owners struggled for their survival.
Why is it so expensive going to the cinema? I find 13 euros quite expensive.
What is expensive?
It's going to the cinema.
Going to the cinema is expensive?
Yeah, it's like 12, 13 euros.
Yeah.
No? I don't
I
know.
was a long time not in cinema anymore. I paid 10, I think, the last time.
Because I'm quite curious, because I mean, I want to go to the cinema more often, and I don't go that often because it's quite, you know, I don't want to pay, I can't pay 12 euros a day to go see a film. So well, I know in Paris, where different cinemas have a kind of a year abonnement, where you can go and watch films as many as you want.
We'll
have that
commit.
here also.
We'll commit.
Yeah.
I just read an article about an American company, the biggest company that owns cinemas, and they started it in America, and they also have a lot of cinemas in Germany. So that will come.
That seems like a great idea.
But the main problem is that in Germany, the average person goes to cinema 1.8 times a year. 1.8. I think in France it's something around 5,
Yeah.
4 or 5. That's the main difference.
And mostly old people. The young people, your generation, I hardly see in cinemas. The people who go regularly to the cinemas are my age, our age or older, as well as the TV viewers are. So, but I think, you know, you're absolutely right. I don't know what you said. To go to a movie, to see a documentary on a big screen, or even on a bigger screen you nowadays have in your living room, and we have big flat screens, everybody. But you know, it makes you, it's dark, you're focused, you see things, you explore things you wouldn't do in your living room. It's a more activating way of viewing and perceiving. And this is the power, especially of documentaries. They activate your thinking and your feelings, and they don't make you sleep.
It's a bit like eating fast food. You know, watching series is like eating fast food. It's quite gratifying, and you watch a good documentary, and you might suffer sometimes while watching it, but you feel really good afterwards.
Are there any questions?
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
I was just thinking if it's also, I mean, yeah, it's a thing that people stay at home and watch Netflix or whatever, but I'm also questioning if it's marketing, because in Austria there is no money for marketing for films that go to cinema. As you said, in the US a film has a marketing budget of, and I often talk to like non-cinema people, like my family or something, and sometimes they ask me, hey, we want to watch a film, what is on? And then I tell them, and then they're like, oh, that sounds so interesting, I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And I always feel like, yeah, because they can't know if they don't ask me, because there's just no marketing that comes to normal people, that reaches normal people. I don't know what to do about it.
Less films, and then
more marketing for less films.
Yeah, Heino mentioned the budgets that the big American distributors invest in just the marketing. They are higher than the production budget. You know, it's crazy. So
well, that was Oscar campaigns.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
which
still, they do.
Yeah.
So we are not professional in, let's say, in Europe. I can say for Germany for sure we are not. Marketing isn't still something which is kind of a secondary thing in our understanding.
Yeah.
And it belongs to good movies. We should invest more and think about marketing more. I agree.
And maybe also films in museums, like to show documentaries in museums as part of a. Because sometimes my work shows in museums and art exhibitions, and so And museums, more and more museums have cinemas built in them. So when they kind of incorporate a documentary into an exhibition or thematic kind of row, a screening that goes with an exhibition, I find that really interesting. And that marketing-wise, it works quite well.
Any questions? Anyone who wants to say something, give a comment? Yeah. Oh, bitte. Danke.
I have a question to something that was discussed right in the beginning when you said that Netflix doesn't have to get money out of it. And I was asking myself, how does Netflix make money?
Netflix doesn't make money. The money that Netflix has is money from the stock exchange.
Okay.
It is doing every year minus up to now, absolutely minus. So it doesn't make money. That's already wrong. Of course, what they want is a lot of subscribers, more and more subscribers, and then they will, from their accounting, once make money. But in the moment, they make minus every year. The one that you can ask yourself why, because there's another one that is Amazon. They are far, far richer. They could do a lot more, but they don't do it yet because they earn money by renting out. What is this? Servers. Thank you. By renting out servers, and that's obviously easier money to make. And that's the reason why they don't pump into this market with all their millions that they have. But Disney is yet now there. I think on the 24th of March they open here in Germany, so they make money by subscribers. That's the only way they can make money.
Thanks. Hi, you guys. Thanks for putting up there and for your presentations. If I understand correctly, we've talked about the power of documentary in terms of its relevance in cinema, and more documentaries are being shown in cinema. But I would be interested in also the power on society, especially this question to Lisa and Teboho. Do you have any moments that you could share with us where you saw what kind of power or impact your documentary had on people out there?
Good question. I come from South Africa, and one of our projects there is we have a mobile video unit which goes around and shows films in communities. So one of my very first films was a film about HIV, where I had three people who made a film about HIV, about being HIV positive, and I went out with them and they showed their own film to communities, and they began kind of a dialogue, and to kind of make the connection between a real person and a person on the screen really became very, very powerful. So I love this. I love it when the protagonists themselves present their own films and interact within the community. So that's a kind of an ongoing project we have. This mobile cinema unit, I think it's been going for 20 years, and it kind of just travels through the mountains and shows films and invites protagonists. And it's fantastic.
I feel like for me, it's also the reason why I'm doing all of this, because I really like the feeling of I experienced it here at Berlinale. I had the feeling that I really got to share something. It was very nice. I loved it that the audience was. I had some screenings where the Q&A was going really wild and people were talking in the audience to each other, and I was just standing there watching like, wow, this has an impact. I like it. So yeah, I feel like that's the main reason for me maybe to do it. That it's really nice. I don't know what to say.
When the people who watch the film start questioning themselves and each other, there's a real energy and a kind of chaos and disruption. That's good.
Dürfen wir noch jemandem eine Antwort geben? Any questions? Ja. Die Seite darf auch fragen, ne? Das ist vollkommen in Ordnung.
Yeah, how you see the future of YouTube?
Of video.
Of what?
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Ach so.
YouTube has more and more adverts now, no?
No expert, sorry.
No, it's a complex question, I'm sorry.
In YouTube you can also have channels, but you have also this YouTube, this big one. And to be honest, I believe in curated things. We did, from the German Documentary Association, was part of it somehow. We started, I think, 20 years ago, an online channel, streamer. And I was not part of it because I didn't at that time already believe in it. I think that the disadvantage of the internet is at the same time the advantage of internet. Everything is immediately there and you can find information immediately. But this is also tiring. You also want sometimes to go somewhere just and you know that you find quality there. It's a little bit what you hope of an ARD channel could be in the future. And I absolutely believe in that, and I think also I was right. All these channels and all these streamers that asked me for films in the beginning of the 2000s and who started something, they were all going more or less bankrupt, are not there anymore. The only ones who were there were in the end the one that really strongly curated and had a lot of money. So the combination of that, they are still existing. So the whole thing that the internet is so democratic is something that was often mentioned in the beginning of the 2000s, but I think we all know now that the internet is not democratic at all. It is just like our society, it's capitalism.
Yeah,
And a lot of lies.
YouTube started as a beautiful anarchy. You know, like something like you can publish, anybody can publish anything without censorship, without commissioning editors, everything can be there. It's a beautiful idea. Even a kind of a bit of a socialist idea in that, you know, so, but I think I'm with you. I think on the long run, and this has already started, apparently it's going to be more and more curated and more commercialized. So this will be the development, it's already there.
Are you going to upload this to YouTube?
Yes, just broadcasting YouTube.
It depends.
I'm very happy to see so many young people sitting here and evidently interested in documentary films and maybe even documentary filmmaking, and I really would like to encourage you to do that if it's your passion and to follow that and to dare something, because I think a lot of power comes from your generation, and the fact that you are here, also a lot of young women do strong documentaries. I would say it's a trend which is more and more a beautiful trend, that there are more and more female filmmakers of documentaries. So I would like to encourage you to go along and to not to be afraid of all these obstacles which might come across.
Coming back to your question, sorry, just because I thought now the whole time, I'm doing this now for 30 years, so you sometimes forget where your passion is actually coming from. But I just thought of when I saw Honeyland there, this part, and I thought, okay, that is probably what it is. Look, you have a film about a woman that nobody ever would know about, from North Macedonia, and she has a wonderful story, and you make a film and you finally can sell that to the whole world, and the whole world sees this woman in North Macedonia working with her bees. I think that is probably what I like about it.
Your question, please.
Yeah, that connects some kind of to my question. For me personally, watching documentaries is about the people that got portrayed and the stories that they or that the directors and the makers of the film make. So my question is about the movie Honeyland, what do you think the community portrayed is getting from you showing the movie? Because you talked a lot about budgets and money.
The community, you mean in the film?
Yeah, yeah.
I can
So
tell you
because
that,
I'm
because
wondering, like, and also maybe to you as a director, like how do you deal with that kind of situation?
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's of course it is, especially in this case, a question that you have to ask, because the success of the story was so unbelievable that this woman is running around the world now for half a year. She was in Hollywood. She was interviewed by everybody. She was with big stars. So that is something we have to think about, because that's a big, big responsibility we have to these people. But with this film, I can say that she has a house now, which she didn't have before, a house with electricity, and that was all paid by the production company then later when the money came in. And they have an initiative, you can find that on the web, where you can buy their honey. So also the family that comes to, for those of you who have not seen the film, the story is more or less, she has her 50-50 division between the honey that she keeps and 50% she gives back to the bees. And then during the film, the family is coming in, and the guy thinks that's a very good business, but he doesn't give it back the 50%. So he keeps all the honey because he has a big deal with somebody made, and he has to feed 8 children. So he gives all the money to this company and not back to the bees, so the bees start to die. And then in the end, they leave because they are nomads, and they leave again, and she has her world back. That's more or less the story of the film. So we also support this family now, all of this honey thing. So we try to give something back, and we try to take responsibility. So hard it is. I mean, I have the same thing, the other film for the Oscars, The Cave. It's the same story. I mean, you have people coming from a war, and you bring them out more or less, but you have to take care, of course, also about them. And on the other side, you have this big world, especially with the Oscars now, that the people go all one interview after the other, and of course they start to feel important. But you know that this is not their normal life, and they once have to go back to their normal life, and that's not very easy. Something you have to think about when you do these kind of things. That answer your question?
Do you want to add anything?
No.
The directors?
I didn't really know what your question was.
No, the directors.
It's a very important issue. What happened? And it's something that in my film I have many protagonists, and I think there were 30 protagonists. And with each protagonist I have a different relationship, and everyone has different expectations of me. So when I make the film, I think for the people I work with, they all have different expectations or different agendas why they want to work with me. So there's kind of no answer that fits everyone, you know? For some protagonists, they just want their story told. Others want to, like my DJ, he would like to go to Stockholm, you know? He wants to go play Arbeit in Stockholm, that's his dream. So, every time he plays his show, he starts with ABBA. So I can't give you an answer because the film is not, it's just been premiered and it hasn't had a life yet, but it's something we think about a lot. And also because I work in these communities for such a long time, the relationships you build up over years, you go back, and it's kind of a long-term process, working with the characters.
Thank you.
Should I also? Or
yeah, please.
So in my film I portrayed a family consisting of 5 people, and now here at Berlinale I realized that the audience kind of wants to know more. They've seen the 90 minutes, the depiction of, my depiction of the life of this family, and they always want to know what happened by now, what did change, but I really like to stress the fact that these 90 minutes are kind of a present. The family and me, we gave the audience, and now it's over. Because, you sometimes forget that even though some films really feel very authentic. It's still something the director and the team made, and you can't, even though it feels like real life or something, like my film maybe, it doesn't mean that you're invited to get all the secrets or so. It's the film, and I really, here at Berlinale, I also saw it as my responsibility to make sure that the family is getting their privacy. Yeah.
Another question?
So only short, I'm Frostina from North Macedonia. So only want to say thank you that you improved the Honeyland movie, and that is to share my experience how one documentary film really have a power to merge one nation. A lot of people in North Macedonia, they sit at 2 o'clock in the night to watch Oscars and everybody is saying we will win and like that. But okay, we didn't win Oscar, but how to say we win the power, and that's
well, you
really
were the winner of the hearts.
yes, that is really
No, I can only come on because we have other stories about that. What was going on in North Macedonia at that time? Because the best story I heard, at least for us as Germans, is that 5 of the people who worked on the film, the 2 cameramen, the 2 directors, and the producer, got now retirement money till the end of their life from the state of Macedonia.
So, one last question. Yes. Einmal den ganzen Raum noch.
So I have one last question. I hope it's not going too far because it concerns my personal project. And I'm in a special situation because I started shooting a documentary last year with my own money because I had to shoot something and I was short on time and I hadn't time to apply for something. I talked to some production companies, but it was too short of time, as I said. And now I have some material which I believe is quite good. People told me it can work, and I'm looking to continue because I'm not done with it. I could do a short film out of it, and I will do if I don't have any other chance to continue. But do you have a recommendation what to do for the funding in this particular case? Because you get funding only when you haven't started shooting yet, and there are several other problems. Okay, so you...
No,
okay.
it's not anymore that. I mean, in every contract in Germany says you are not allowed to start shooting, but in documentaries this is a very weak thing. You can always say you just secured material, and that is allowed, so that is not a problem. And you are more or less in a situation like, I would say, half of the filmmakers. You have an idea, you start to film something, and nowadays it's normal that you have something already shot before you come and try to sell it, because you're doing a trailer or teaser, we call it, and you write a text. It's totally normal then to go to production companies or to broadcasters or whatever in that moment.
But you should go to a producer. You should seek a home of a good producer you trust, and you have to win him, and he will help you, of course. This is the next step for sure. And maybe if you have good material, this is easier than it was before.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the audience. Ab 21 Uhr, um 9 Uhr geht es hier weiter, und jetzt, glaube ich, noch ein großer Schlussapplaus.